I never liked him. I don't think anybody did. He wasn't exactly the most charming of personalities. Socially, I'd say he was a little insensitive, never what one would call witty, hardly the life of the party. We all thought he was a competent actor, but not somebody anybody thought would make a name for himself. I don't think anybody really liked him at all. Till Hamlet, which made liking or disliking him seem somehow irrelevant and petty, quite revelationary. Such studied grace, melded with such a naturalistic use of the voice. He spoke only at the end of each breath. He spoke only at the end of each breath. The fact is, some people express themselves more fully in their life than in their art, which can be a handicap once they're dead. And vice versa, of course. I don't think anybody realized his personal pain till Hamlet, jusqu'à le petit chambon. That scene, he first meets his father's ghost. He's dressed all in black, his arms folded under his cloak, his hat pulled down over his eyes. It was a cold midnight. The bell strikes the hour. The theatre in darkness. The man seemed to radiate his own inner light. The audience in absolute silence, holding their breath. You could have heard an icicle crack at the North Pole. Suddenly, he moves upstage, his back to the audience. As the ghost enters downstage, stands motionless. Horatio points, "Look, my lord, here it comes." Hamlet turns sharply, "I see nothing." "No, my lord, over there." Hamlet turns and looks, staggers back 2, 3, maybe 4 paces. His knees give way, his hat falls to the ground, both his arms stretch out, his hands above his head, fingers apart, mouth agape, rooted to the spot, legs apart, supported by his 2 friends. A figure so terrified, it made your flesh creep. Till at last he speaks. "Angels defend us, angels defend us." Who would ever have thought death also has an imagination? He was the talk of the town, especially after he killed himself that same night on his way home from the theatre, threw himself under a truck. It was no accident. A legend was born. I crouch. I flinch. I am afraid. My heart galloping bareback on a horse I've never ridden before. I've never ridden a horse before. This man, a few feet away, grunts. He wriggles and claws at the earth, the frantic gestures of the almost dead. His face is familiar, but I don't remember his name. Our company has come apart at the seams. But I know it's not me. It's not me who dreams of some future spring, birds singing, the freshly laundered earth, blossoming time to think, and muse on love under a sky-blue sky. But I know that's not why reality is in ruins on the night's horizon. Posturing giants dissolving in drifts of blackened smoke, shapes too vaguely threatening to ever admire from a distance, cracked mirrors in the rosy gloom of slaughter. But I know it's not me, it couldn't be me. It's not me they're after, these enemies of a world that craves to be kind. My mind spinning in my head, all the unwearying anthems that will resume, the reckless pride that will prevail, startled by numberless corpses, but relentless in its urgency to sicken the human soul, with loyalties polluted by severe and secretly misguiding structures, rigged, ragged by the raving winds of a courage undiminished in its grave. But I know it's not me. It couldn't be me. Not me bravely saving humanity from needless suffering at all costs. Agony for the many, peace for the few. And I know it's not you. It's not you who's trampled the flower of my youth, the undimpled lover with shaded eyes, the merciful kiss of my tears strangling my smiles. Those who dared to highlight the rainbow with subtleties of color not even nature could imagine, not those deserted in their dust. The evil learned of late too soon shall fuel a cavalcade of small talk lessons of honor and glory and unresigned futility. Ancestral murmurings of truth so untruly spoken to blood-stained stones. Lips that lie so deep, their own mouths can't follow the mysteries of their mother's tongue, their father's unforgiving pageantry. But I know it's not me. It couldn't be me who's dying, struck by some poisoned dart that beats its particular path to my heart. An unlikely shard of toxic metal ripping my voice from its throat, too little required to destroy so much. I reel, I shiver, I fall to earth like a feather, death and bluster moaning and cheering in my wake. A worm is crushed that now can crawl no further, as the proud feet of a million marching men, with woman's tender blessing, step over my freshly severed head. But I know it's not me. It couldn't be me. Not me who's dead. Let me set down my adventures. Let me set down my adventures. 'Twas on a warm and frosty morning, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, as was my wont. I was waiting for love, and I fell asleep. And the rain will fall in the desert, and the snow will snow in the desert, and the weeds will grow in the desert, and the desert will be abandoned by all who have watched it become what it is. So it is, said the rich man. So it is, said the poor man, and the rich man nods, and the poor man blinks. And the rich man has a fine notion, the poor man has an empty belly. I love you, said the rich man, and give me some money, said the poor man. That's not what love is all about, said the rich man. Then go to hell, said the poor man. I quote verbatim from the good book. I quote verbatim from the best book. I quote verbatim from all the other books. Life is a thief, a liar, and a murderer, said the innocent man. I had nothing to do with it, Your Honor. I quote verbatim from the Book of Scrolls. I quote verbatim from all the other scrolls. The scroll of life, the bread scroll, the scroll that Humpty Dumpty sought to live without. And I weep, for all the tears that have to be shed. Enough tears to drown the unkindness in human eyes. I cry out for a little feasting, but it's not allowed. It was a time of depression, starvation, an intense yearning as Johnny Depp swung through the air like a latter-day swashbuckler. We danced together, and we set the floor on fire. And beauty descended like a white sheet, falling over the dead man's eyes. And all the grapes from all the vines from all over the world shall be crushed to make women's blood. We cannot go down the same river twice. We cannot go down the same river twice, eternally moving towards a fixed point. Blow out the light and follow me gently. Blow out the light and follow me gently. Men are fools who wish to die. All men are fools who wish to die. I never thought it would end like this. As I crossed the bridge and entered the city, a sudden shower of debris sent me scurrying into the pig market. Is there anything I can get you? Is there anything I can get you? Asked the man. Under the circumstances, I knew he couldn't possibly understand. A moment's silence, then a hideous gurgle. The pig was dead. I am a man of peace. I did nothing. And the rain will fall in the desert, and snow will snow in the desert, and weeds will grow in the desert. Oh, the waters of the world. There was a loud crash and a smashing of glass. A door ripped open, and a man stood gaping in the emptied space. Murder, he gasped. Murder. Under the circumstances, he knew I could not possibly understand. A red stain of wine trickling down his shirt front, as innocent as salt in coffee. He held out a letter in his hand. I took the letter and I placed it in my pocket. As the city went up in flames, it was impossible to sleep. We chatted till dawn. 'Twas the wine that warmed me to play the tragedy well. 'Twas the wine that warmed me to make the comedy good. We took clothes from the dead, and the wicked have dug pits for the good to rest in peace. And all the grapes from all the vines from all over the world shall be crushed to make woman's blood. I tore the letter into small and smaller pieces, and I hid the pieces in my pocket. All the waters of the world only wash over us, leaving pebbles on the beach, drained of meaning, filled with life, emptied of consequence, sand seeking shelter from the stars, then finding its bliss in being shelterless. Follow me now up the ladder of sparks. See the light on the man who waits, yet the moon is dark. And far in the center, deep into the center, the crunching of bones, blood curdling with the poison of dead minds. If it's a dream shared by the whole world. Follow me now up the ladder of sparks to the pool of peace, deep within the deeps, where the edge of silence spreads its wings between the breast and the belly of the universe. Not dust and wind, but a star shines gently on the brink of the world lips. A world that weeps, a bitter rain that lives, but is never refreshed, even after all this time. Follow me now up the ladder of sparks. Sit within the hollow of the blackest cloud. In the darkest back streets of the wind, shake with rage, crawl like a dog unleashed, who has lost its will to wander, though the heart never ceases. Oh, the waters of the world, if you held me close, I'd know that you were near, and I wouldn't feel so afraid. Oh, the waters of the world. I never thought it would end like this.